Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Futures Brizio here. Just about 11 a.m. on Tuesday, November 18th. And just want to jump in here, do kind of a late morning, mid session type review to see where we're at. It's been kind of choppy today. So let's just jump right in and look at it. And as always, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel before we get going. Really appreciate that. And any questions, comments, leave them down below. All right, so let's just jump right in. We'll start here on Canadian dollar. As I mentioned yesterday, on the longer time frame, such as the daily, we still have this downtrend basically in place. Here's our kind of our daily zone. This was the last high that led to this low. We do have a trend line sitting up here, which was not touched on this move. That's why I thought it would be interesting to see if we could break higher and then create another trend line touch on the longer time frame. But if we put that aside, just drill down a little bit. We also have this 4 hour kind of resistance zone right here that I had put on the charts yesterday. And I just said, if we were able to come up and take this area out, then that could lead to prices going higher. I mean, we still have this area up here on the 1 hour, 4 hour. We've still got, these highs up here. But I felt like if this one failed, then we'd probably go right through there and head back at least closer back to this daily zone. As of right now, you can see this morning we did actually in the last hour come up and did touch the upside, this box. We did try to break out and have a big strong rejection off of here with a big long wick on this hourly candle. Again, this is more like an hourly zone right here. It's just a resistance zone. I mean, there's nothing more complicated than that. That's all this is, just a resistance zone. So if we look at shorter time frames, so this is down to the 15. I have a couple of alerts set here. Basically, sometimes what happens is it'll reject off these zones originally. The sellers will try to step in and sell from here, and then it'll come down for a little while, and then it'll turn and smash right through it. So I do have an alert set above, kind of like right about here. You can see this dotted line. That's an alert zone. If this turns and breaks back through there, to me, that would be pretty bullish. And then I have one to the downside, a little bit lower. If it takes out all of this congestion area and breaks lower, then that would, to me, would signal the continuation of the downtrend. So I'm not in anything right now. So we'll see what happens. If this gets a little bit of momentum one way or another, could still be a trade there today. But at the moment, this is just kind of, range bound. And there's a lot of noise right in here. So between buyers and sellers, I don't want to get necessarily caught in that chop. So let's see what happens there. But could go either way. We are technically still in a downtrend, but on the daily chart, this is not a very bearish looking pattern to me. With this move up and then, an attempt to go longer, to go short, and then down lower, and then having a bullish candle come right back again. Whereas, you can see off these other areas, as soon as price hits those supply resistance areas, had a strong push away. We don't have that right now, so it's a little bit more of a question, although it is going down right now. But again, unless we clear these old lows right here definitively, especially on, and not even on a 15-minute, I'd have to see an hourly close below this zone before I would think this uptrend has ended. And it is moving right now, but like I said, I'd have to see more of a defined sell off here to want to get back in short. Because we could easily have it wick through here and then turn and go right back up again. So, okay, so we'll take a quick look at rice and hogs because they're both kind of in the same position. Again, we're just still moving with rice inside of this larger range here, not really making any progress. Again, we started this range back at about 3 weeks ago, and we just continued to just move inside of here. We're sitting right in the middle of the range right now. So again, whether this is an accumulation zone and we're going to eventually pop higher and start going up, or whether the market's just taking a big long pause here, I don't know. Again, it wouldn't be out of the realm to have prices go lower. There are some lower prices below where prices now, but like I said, between that like $9.50 and $10 range, there are some lower prices. But this zone in general, from about where it is now to a little bit lower, has been an area that's held pretty tightly for many, many years. And so, yeah, so we'll see what happens right here. But right now, like I said, I'm just kind of watching it inside of this range to see if we break lower. I'd be careful about false breakouts to the downside. Although again, we do have some downside potential, even if it doesn't continue to make really big new lows. There is some downside room if you look at the higher time frame below the bottom of this range. But like I said, it's not doing anything right now, so I'm not doing anything with it. If we look at Hogs, and I don't know what's going on with this chart. I don't know why it looks so gappy right here, but let's go to the December chart. And again, it's kind of the same situation. We're kind of sitting at this triple bottom area. And again, it's not that price can't go lower. It certainly could. We certainly have more lows sitting way down here that price could target. We're now, at least 3 touches on this area right here. On the shorter time frames, though, down to the 1 hour, again, we're just chopping around in here. Obviously, there's no magic to this, right? Drawing these boxes. It's everybody else sees the same areas, which is why you get this push and pull between buyers and sellers, and the market's basically just, happy with this price right now. None of the big players are really doing anything to push price higher or lower. So until we either clear these lows, in which case I do think there's still some pretty good downside potential if we can clear these lows. That would definitely, I think, signal a push lower back towards these lows somewhere down here. But if we can clear and start moving higher, especially if we get above this swing high, which is kind of like our last major swing high right here, then, that would shift it more bullish. But there's really nothing doing right now. This is just literally nothing. So anyways, so nothing doing with Hogs. So let's talk about grains. So we had some bullish on soybean meal, soybeans, and corn. We had some bearish price action the last couple of hours. We're still in an uptrend, but again, we did have some bearish momentum early in the session here. Did take out some little short-term market structure like here. At least we tried. We wicked through them. But overall, not very impressive right now. Again, I'm not picking a top on these markets. There's just no reason to. On soybeans, we're still basically looking at, to me, this is the most recent major pullback area. We're a long, long way from that. So, so any of this momentum, to the downside, to me is not selling momentum. So it's just pull back. But if we do break lower, we come down, take out these 2 lows right here, we could have a bigger correction back towards these lows. But again, that wouldn't necessarily change anything in terms of the market direction. But could we have a larger pullback? Sure. After, like I said, these can be really volatile, and when they do move, they tend to move pretty quick. So let's see what happens. But right now, I certainly wasn't going to try to sell it this morning, just on 2 bearish hourly candles. But that's just how the market opened this morning. And now it's kind of just moving pretty sideways. Soybean meal is pretty much the same thing. Although on soybean meal, excuse me, still fighting a cold, guys. But this is the 8-hour chart, which has kind of a nice little zone right here. And, we've kind of move towards that zone today, but again, as we approach it, the selling is kind of slowing down here. So again, unless we really smash through here and start going lower, I'm still not selling this market at all. So it's still in a bull market, and I'd still like to look for buying opportunities, although there's nothing going on right now. So nothing going on really in soybeans, at least for me, or soybean meal. Corn is looking pretty sloppy, to be honest. Again, we had this, we are still in an uptrend. Again, we had that huge bearish move last Friday, and prices tried to recover here. But it did make some progress, but it's still not very impressive. And you can see today it's just not really doing anything. So we're just having one of those kind of quiet ranging days where price will just chop around, and if you try to trade a lot of this, you'll probably get chopped up. So really since the open, it's done nothing today at all. So nothing really doing today. Overall, still in an uptrend, but I think price has to kind of prove that it can recover and go higher, even though it did put in this higher low during the overnight session, I guess. Yeah, this was like overnight London session. Price did try to put in a higher low and move higher. But today during the North American session, it's just dead in the water, not doing anything. So let's see what happens. But corn is looking, still overall bullish, but pretty messy right now. Soybean meal on the oil on the other hand, you can see I'm holding it long in this. It's a late entry, but I took this breakout. I don't generally like taking breakout trades because usually by the time you see the breakout on even a 1 hour time frame, most of the move is probably ended for the day. Obviously, the area to get into that was at the beginning of it back here, but I didn't. But it is in profit, and we'll see. And the reason why I took it is because if we zoom out a little bit, there's really nothing to stop this from going higher until at least back at this. This is an 8-hour chart. I mean, we have some potential selling area right here, back at this 8-hour swing high. So I suspect price will get somewhere up in this area, and then we'll run into resistance. But I don't know if I'll hold it that long. But I do think it'll have more of a clear run to that area, just the way it looks now. So I'm holding this one long for now. And soybean oil has been the really laggard in the soy complex, and it's just funny today that soybeans and soybean meal are just dead in the water, but now we've got soybean oil moving higher. So, go figure. So, and again, guys, we still don't have commitment of traders data. I checked this morning right before I made the video, and it still is showing September 23rd, still here for the latest report. So still nothing going on in that respect. And we already talked about the Canadian dollar, right? Yeah, we already talked about CAD dollar. It's not doing anything. Although, again, like I said, I do have a price alarm, this is a pretty aggressive area right here. But I just want to review that again is there is some sign that, we could get some more bullish price action back towards this more major level up here, because we never touched the trend line again on this pullback. So we could get another push higher to actually touch the trend line or potentially break it on the higher time frame. And this could be a higher low right here that will go higher. But again, this is the 6-hour chart. If we drill down again, there is a big resistance area right here, and prices right now just reacting inside of it. And it's inside of this minor box right here. But if we can get through here, like I said, I do think that we'll push higher and probably clear this high right here. I expect maybe a little resistance at this swing, but I don't think that'll be enough to stop it, because this high failed to make a new low, which means it's probably a pretty weak area. And if price does get back up here, I don't think it may have a little bit of resistance, but I think it'll get through there and we'll work closer towards this area. And you can see my price alarm actually while we're speaking is being triggered. So I'm not sure if I'm going to take it or not, but uh, because this could just, react off of here and come right back into the zone again. But really, I need to see it clear this high up here that it already touched earlier today. So yeah, so that's what I'm watching this morning. So overall, pretty quiet in the market. Some chopping around, and soybean oil is really the only thing that's moving of these today. Um, yeah, so that's it, guys. I'll leave it there. A little late morning update. I'll come back in later if there's really anything, if anything changes. But if we just kind of stay in these sideways patterns and quiet trading, then yeah, I probably won't bother. So again, hope that was helpful. Questions, comments, make sure you leave them down below. Smash that like button on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you're just finding it for the first time. Trying to grow the channel a little bit, and I hope it was helpful. Again, these are very limited markets I trade, and I know for futures traders, most of the YouTubers are trading, NASDAQ and S&P and gold and stuff like that. I don't trade any of that stuff. So I try to stick to some of these agricultural commodities. Not that they're easier to trade, but I feel a lot of times they don't have because they don't attract so much attention from retail traders. Maybe there's not so much manipulation in there. Could just be me, but anyways, that's how I feel about it. So all right, guys. So I will be back. Hope everybody has a good day in the meantime, and we'll talk soon. Okay, thanks.